In this video, we're going to show you to install the strut and spring assembly on your Toyota Camry located behind the rear wheels. Using a pry tool, go ahead and pop off your center cap. Using your 21mm socket, loosen and remove the lug nuts. Go ahead and grab that wheel, remove it and set it aside. Now that we have the wheel off, we want to go ahead and separate our brake line. 12mm socket, loosen and remove this bolt. Pull that aside. On the sway bar end leg itself, we want to go ahead and use our 15mm. The original sway bar end link may be a 14mm. I'm going to separate that and throw that nut back on there. Now we have two big bolts here. They're 19mm. There's a bolt head and a nut. So we're going to use our impact gun and a wrench to hold these here. Get those big bolts out, set those aside. And grab that knuckle here and just kind of pull that off. We want to separate the strut from the knuckle. There it is. Let's go ahead and relocate to the interior of the vehicle. We have to start on the inside by removing our seat bottom. Reach around the front side here. Just pull up. Lift that seat. Pull it forward and remove it from the vehicle. On the back seat bolster here, I want to go ahead and remove this. Lift up this flap. Shows us a 12mm bolt. Spin that out, and we're going to lift up on the bolster. And pull that out, set that aside. Fold down your back seats by locating these buttons here. Press down, pull it forward. You're going to do that on the passenger side too. On the back package tray, you're going to have two Phillips head screws here. I'm going to loosen and remove these. Set those aside. On both driver and passenger side, you're going to have these trim panels. I'm going to pop these off. Set those aside. Pop out the passenger side bolster the same way we did the driver side. Want to go ahead and remove our third brake light here. So grab that cover, lift it up and out towards you. Once you have that cover off, we're going to use our 10mm socket to loosen and remove these two bolts. Let's go ahead and twist out that bulb counterclockwise. And it's just a little retaining tab here. We're going to use our pocket screwdriver to push in on this little tab. And that will release this electrical connector. Remove that unit, set it aside. Lift up on our package tray here. Pull this up and just kind of work it out. Remove this and remove it from the vehicle and set this aside. We're going to locate the 3 studs and nuts for the top portion of our strut here. They are 12 millimeter. Now be careful as you remove the last nut, the strut will probably drop out. As I'm removing this nut here, I'm going to reach around the inside of the wheel well and grab that strut just to secure it in place while I remove this here. I'm going to slowly lower it down from the inside of the wheel well. Just wiggle this free from the knuckle. Work this out and remove it from the vehicle. We're going to go ahead and feed the strut up into place. Now I'm going to get the strut in a position here and try and get one of the bolts installed in the knuckle and into the strut. We have one of the bolts in. I'm going to get one of the nuts started here. Now what we're going to do is go up into the vehicle. We're going to be able to go ahead and pull up on this strut assembly and get the 3 studs pulled up inside. If you have to, you can use a jack underneath to go ahead and raise your suspension, feeding that strut and those studs up into the body. We're going to go ahead and jack our lower suspension up, feeding the strut up into place here. Now that we have the 3 studs poking up, let's go ahead and get the nut started on there. Let's go ahead and tighten those down. Let's go ahead and torque these down to 29 foot-pounds. At this point here, we can go ahead and lower our jack underneath the vehicle. Go ahead and remove that. Once you're done with this side here, you want to repeat this same process for the passenger side. Install your package tray. Install the bulb into your 3rd brake light here. Push this through, put the clip in, and we'll feed this down into the vehicle. Tuck that down and in. With that in place, get the 2 bolts installed. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver if you want to go ahead and snug these down, or you can use your 10 millimeter. Gently snug. Install your trim panel here. Snap that into place. Now installing your trim pieces here, there should be a little plastic retainer button here that pops down below. I want to go ahead and line this up. There's 2 tabs on the top that fit into this panel. You can work that seal out here, pop this in, and then just work that seal back around like so. Again, repeat this for the passenger side. Installing your bolsters, you want to pay attention to this tab on the top that fits into a bracket here on the body itself. Pull that seat belt out. You want to line this up. Push that down and in. And on the bottom, we want to go ahead and install that lower bolt. Get that started, and then we'll tighten that down. Repeat for the driver's side. Install the 2 Phillips head screws onto the rear package tray. Just gently snug those down. And do the same for the other side. At this point here, flip up the seat, latch that, latch the driver's side, insert your seat bottom, and make sure that your seat belts are pulled up into the trays here. Go ahead and push this back. Push down on the seat bottom once you feel that the tabs on the bottom are in the locking position. And let's relocate to underneath the vehicle. Go ahead and push the knuckle up. Get that upper bolt in. Get that nut started. Go ahead and take that brake line. Just tap that over and get our bolt started. Over to the sway-bar end link. Remove that nut. Position that over. Get that nut started. Just tighten down the brake line. Make sure that's good and tight. Just tighten down our sway-bar end link nut. Just tighten down our strut nuts and bolts. Torque the sway-bar end link nut to 47 foot-pounds. Now going to torque down the strut bolts and nuts to the knuckle. If you're using the original hardware, you want to torque these to 145 foot-pounds. If you're using new hardware, you want to torque that to 188 foot-pounds. You want to go ahead and install your wheels. You want to go down, have an alignment performed as well, and at that point there, you're all set. Grab that wheel, good, line that up. Let's go ahead and get our lug nuts started. Let's go ahead and snug these down. Go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 76 foot-pounds. And do this in a crisscross or star pattern. And if you have a center cap or hub cap, go ahead and install that now. You're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.